things are moving very quickly in this brave new world. There are steps I never imagined that Joe Biden, on his most authoritarian day, would have enacted, are now being implemented. I would have thought that before we've seen anything this draconian, anything this horribly fascistic, we would have to wait until Biden was felled down the stairs or possibly completely lost whatever's left of his mind, and Camel Toe Hair Ass stepped into his place. Now, if she would have done something like this, I wouldn't have been shocked. What is this, Ogre? You're going on about something we don't know about. Let me get right to it. Thank you, Tucker, for getting back to journalism. Or I wouldn't have known about this. I'll show you after I play this short clip how difficult it was to find information about this sorry son of a bitch and what they're trying to do to him.
Mark Steyn is a best-selling author, one of the smartest men we know, joining us now with the reaction to this. So, Mark, you've spent your entire life as a journalist mocking people you disagree with politically. Here you have Doug Mackey, who I'd never heard of before today. No. He is a journalist. He mocks people. He's going to jail for it. How do you feel about that?
Well, disgusted. I mean, it's extraordinary to me that the FBI, which are the guys who interfered in the 2016 election, now are terrorizing some guy who posted a picture of Taylor Swift wearing a MAGA hat that he'd photoshopped onto her head. So in other words, all the dirty, rotten, stinking, corrupt officials at the Department of Justice and at the FBI, both of which I think are actually irredeemable now and should probably be disbanded and rebuilt from scratch. The guys who actually interfered in the 2016 election and got their buddies in MI6 and ASIO in Australia to assist them, setting up Papadopoulos and the rest of the crowd, they've now found some little fella to make an example of, and they're going to stick him in jail for 10 years. And the FBI agent, our pal Sean Hannity, is always going on about all the good people in the FBI. I'm sorry, Sean, but the FBI agent who investigated this guy for a non-crime should be ashamed of herself. Exactly. And actually shouldn't have taken that gig.
Well, not only can I agree 100% with the great, the one and only Mark Steyn, you know, I have to interject a little bit here. The FBI is horrible. It started out horrible. It started out, you know, gathering information. That was the whole idea behind it. Gather information on powerful people so that you can blackmail them, so that you can force them. Look into J. Edgar Hoover. He was a horrible, terrible person that wanted to rule from behind the scenes. They're still doing it. Don't you remember Schumer saying you shouldn't mess with these people? They have 7 ways to Sunday. They can screw you up. Well, they stole the election for him. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm going to try my best not to outright mock Joe Biden, but I will point out where he's a little cuckoo. I will point out when it's obvious that something has been stolen as this. But that's not our topic, is it? So it took me a little time to find this person. Doug Mackey is the person's name, but it's hard to find his name. It's hard to find him under there because he posted under Rick Vaughn. Rick Vaughn was a fictitious character in a baseball movie played by Charlie Sheen. I'm not even remembering the name of the movie right now, at the top of my head. But if you type in Doug Mackey, you know, not much is going to pop up. If you type in even Ricky Vaughn, not much is going to pop up. They do not want you knowing about this. But one thing that did come up, I'd never heard about it. This thing, Vaughn Today, I'm guessing it has something to do with him. I mean, it's in the last name. I don't really know if Ricky Vaughn or if this is just coincidental. But it's hard to find anything about this. There is a small article, of course, disparaging article to Doug Mackey from the Washington Compost. But this was the first one that I found, and at the time I was looking around 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It was the only article I could find in print. So this is from Vaughn Today, Thursday, January 28, 2021. This is by Cole Hansen, a man arrested for deceiving Clinton voters in 2016. In New York, a pro-Trump, quote, influencer, unquote, was arrested Wednesday on charges of spreading false information on Twitter in 2016 to suppress thousands of votes for Hillary Clinton in the presidential election against the New York mogul. France Media. According to the indictment released on Wednesday, Douglas Mackey, 31, better known by his pen name Ricky Vaughn, posted a series of messages on Twitter in the weeks leading up to the presidential election on November 8th, 2016, encouraging thousands of voters for Hillary Clinton to post the vote in simple text. Thus, he made them believe that their votes would count and that they would not need to vote for them. The complaint did not directly name Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, but letters from Macy and his friends, which he cited in the complaint, left little doubt that voters were intending to deceive them, including the use of liquidations that were insulting to Democrats. The idea apparently came from the British campaign for the Brexit referendum in June 2016. A supporter of Donald Trump picked up a misleading message calling for supporters of keeping the UK in the European Union to send a text rather than vote in person for a referendum. The complaint does not specifically mention the number of people who missed the opportunity to vote for Hillary Clinton. But the telecom company had the number provided by Mr. Mackey to send the text, okay? Listen. How many people do you think were suppressed from voting by these ridiculous polls that said Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide and there was nothing anybody could do about it? Do you think that that's possible? Was that misinformation? Who decides what is misinformation and what is not? Is it our government? If it's our government, we're in serious, serious trouble. All you have to do is pick up a history book. We are involved in this incredible experience here in the United States where the people are governed by their consent. Who consents to this? I often find myself face palming when I hear the people of the state of Michigan versus, and then they put the defendant in those brackets. The people of the United States of America versus, I think of the U.S. versus Larry Flynt. No one was against Larry Flynt except for the government. I facepalm because many, many times, I think the majority of times when they say the people versus enter defendant in brackets, the people are not in connivance with this. It's the government against Doug Mackey right now. It has nothing to do with the people. Sure, there are some people that they amplify in such a way that it seems like they're the overwhelming majority. Be not fooled. They are not the overwhelming majority. They are the overwhelming minority. They are the very vocal minority. You've heard it said that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm going to tell you that sometimes the squeaky wheel needs to be replaced. Now Amazon's coming out saying that they're totally against mail-in ballots and no one wants mail-in ballots anymore. Because now that the election is rigged, now that a puppet is installed, now that they can start with their draconian, unbelievably un-American, authoritarian It's very hard for me to imagine this is happening in the United States of America. It's very hard for me to imagine that I could possibly see the fall of this beautiful republic. Not in name, they'll keep the name, but all the principles are gone. The things that made this country great disappeared from the landscape of the earth forever. And believe me, when the powerful people in charge now take your freedoms from you, they will not easily give them back. Educate yourself. Read as much as you possibly can. Get a book. Wipe the dust off the cover. Open those pages up. Use your mind. And please, make America great again. Remember, be good to your friends. Be good to your family members. Be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and all of your favorite memes will depart from you.